Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song.
Listen to the song of this congregation that sings out to you, come in, all of you, into our house of hope and love, of peace and justice, of wholeness and healing. Come in where we welcome the certain and the seeking, the long-timers and the newcomers, the beloved and the brokenhearted. All of you can find a home here at Throop, where we go live the world from the heart of Pasadena, from the heart of our homes. Good morning. Welcome to our friends joining us on live stream. This morning, we enter into holy space together as we observe Transgender Day of Remembrance, which falls each year on November 30th. And some of the history of Transgender Day of Remembrance is in November of 1998. Rita Hester was murdered for being transgender. A year later, in the city of San Francisco, a candlelight vigil was held to honor her memory and also to honor the lives of all transgender people who had been murdered for being all of who they are. So I ask today, as we share readings and rituals of remembrance, that we enter into that space knowing it as holy and sacred ground. One of the ways that we love the world is each month we come together after a fourth Sunday worship service and we make sack lunches that are given to the street outreach team at Friends Indeed. And you're invited to join us after worship in the Throop Hall. It's through those doors at the back, and you can join in on our table as we make those sack lunches. We put peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and a lot of love into each bag. And if you're new to Throop, we would love to stay in touch with you. You can fill out an info card that you see in the pew in front of you, and you can hand it in a little later in worship. And every Sunday as we enter this space, we're reminded that each one of us is a light in the world. And the flame from our Unitarian Universalist chalice symbolizes and reflects that light.
Our time together in worship is intimately connected with our daily lives. As a symbol of that connection, we light our chalice with a flame from our candles of hope and witness. Our flame reminds us that love is at the center. This love steadies us in times of uncertainty. This love nurtures us in times of sorrow. This love connects us to each other and to all life. We light a second candle to honor the people and ancestors whose lands we now occupy. This land under and around Throop is the unceded land of the Gabrielino Tongva Band of Mission Indian people. May this knowledge and awareness lead us into dismantling systems of supremacies and oppression. We light a third candle symbolizing our watershed, the Arroyo Seco. May their waters continue to nourish life in our communities. We take a moment of silence, holding all of these in our hearts. And now we arise as we sing hymn number 112, Do You Hear, in the gray hymnal.
Do you hear, oh my friend, in the place where you stand, to the sky, through the land? Do you hear, in the heights on the plain, in the vale on the main, in the sun and the rain? Do you hear, through the roar, through the rush, through the throng, through the crush? Do you hear in the hush of your soul to your soul, and the cry fear won't still? Hear the heart's call to will, hear a sigh, startling thrill in your soul, in your soul.
Turn to a neighbor and welcome them into worship this morning.
From the place where you stand to the outermost strand, do you hear, oh my friend? Do you hear all the dreams, all the dares, all the sighs, all the prayers? They are yours, mine, and theirs. Do you hear? Do you hear, oh my friend? In the place where you stand, through the sky, through the land, do you hear, in the heights on the plain, in the vale on the main, in the sun, in the rain, do you hear, do you hear?
Transgender, indigenous environmental activist Pinar Sinopoulos Lloyd uses they, them, wrote, and I did adapt it a bit for length. They wrote, I don't believe our souls are waiting to be found. Yet there is something awfully soul-like reflected back to us through encounter and relation with our multi-species kin. If the soul waits for anything, it's not necessarily that it's waiting to be found, but it's waiting to be tended to, nurtured, encouraged into growth. For tending to work, we need conditions that allow growth. For the soul to have space to grow, especially the souls in marginalized bodies living during a time of ecocide, we need both a sense of belonging to our earth and the wider ecologies beyond the human, and we also need release. Release from the dominant culture made up of things like white supremacy, capitalism, and patriarchy. Thinking about that sense of needing to belong to somewhere or something, is there some place on our earth that offers you that sense of belonging, that sense of kinship, not just with humans, but with other species? We have a practice at Throop. Every week we say together our promise to our planet. And today, as we share those words, they're in the order of worship. I invite you to hold close in your heart, in your mind, that place on earth that gives you that sense of belonging. As members of the family of living beings on earth, we are guided by the Unitarian Universalist principle of respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part, with hearts filled with love for it, eyes nurtured by its beauty, and minds on ways to protect its sacred and scarce resources. We promise to nurture the well-being of all life and of the planet itself. And today we hear wisdom from Psalm 42. It's lightly adapted. Matthew will share it. The congregation's response is, through deep listening, we open sacred space between us. And let's say that together. Through deep listening,
we open sacred space between us. As a deer longs for flowing streams, so my soul longs to drink God. My soul thirsts for God. I wonder, will I ever make it? My tears have been food, tears for breakfast, tears for supper, while people pester me all day long. Where is this God of yours? Through deep listening, we open sacred space between us. These things I remember as I pour out my soul, how I went with the worshiping crowd right out in front, led them all, eager to arrive and worship, shouting praises, singing thanksgiving. Through deep listening, we open sacred space between us. My soul is cast down, yet even so, I rehearse everything I know of you. Deep calls to deep. To the tune of whitewater rapids, your breaking surf, your thundering breakers crash and crush me.
Through deep listening, we open sacred space between us.
Then God promises to love me all day, sing songs all through the night. My life is God's prayer. I fix my eyes on God. Soon I'll be praising again, a smile on my face and hope in God. Through deep listening, we open sacred space between us.
One way we honor that sacred space at Throop is when a beloved member of the congregation dies, we have a ritual of candle lighting in remembrance. This morning, we pause in remembrance of the thousands of transgender people who have died by acts of anti-transgender violence. These people who over decades and millennia have lost their lives, and they have had no one to remember them. But today, they have us to remember them. I've asked Matthew to light a taper candle from the flame from our chalice. We mourn that too many lives have been lost. We mourn the loss of their laughter, their tears, their stories, their gifts, their joy. They were silenced too soon, and those things will never be heard from them again. And so Matthew will extinguish the chalice flame to observe those physical deaths. Of course, some part of their lives touched others through their courageous living. They inspired others to move forward, to be courageous in living their whole and holy selves. And from the flame that we took from the chalice, Matthew will now light a candle to symbolize the influence of their lives. And may this flame inspire each one of us to be all of who we are meant to be in this world. In mystery, we are born. In mystery, we live. In mystery, we die. The Human Rights Campaign tells us that in this last year in the United States alone, 36 transgender people lost their lives due to acts of anti-transgender violence. In their memory, we have 36 tea lights lit on our chancel. We have a shared reading inviting us, calling us, challenging us to bear witness. The congregation will respond throughout the reading with the words, "We bear witness." And as this litany is shared, the tea light candles will gradually be extinguished, noting the loss of those lives.
We people, gathered here today on the quest for truth and meaning, bear witness.
We bear witness
To the record of human lives extinguished simply because these people dared to live authentically.
We bear witness
To the lives and reported deaths of at least 350 transgender people globally so far this year.
We bear witness
To the lives and reported deaths of 36 transgendered people in these United States so far this year, we bear witness. To the unreported ones, uncounted ones, the unnamed many, whose lives and deaths will only ever be known by the universe, we bear witness. In these times of heightened anxiety, we who are gathered here today reject the teachings of division and ignorance and commit to siding with love against hatred. We bear witness.
Against close-minded ideologies that excuse evil acts in the name of religion, we bear witness. Against any administration that seeks to fuel their rise to power by threatening the lives of transgender, genderqueer, and non-binary people, we bear witness. Against systemic... Not mine.
Against systemic power structures that treat transgender, genderqueer, and non-binary people, particularly those who are people of color, as being anything less than human.
We bear witness.
On this day, we who are queer folk and allies gathered together uphold our UU values that speaks to the inherent worth of dignity of every person.
We bear witness.
For those who exist boldly, unapologetically, in public space as fully authentic, transgender, genderqueer, and non-binary people. We bear witness. These remembered deaths have not gone unnoticed by us. We bear witness. Sacred, transgender, genderqueer, and non-binary lives do not go unnoticed by us. We bear witness.
For those transgender, genderqueer, and non-binary people who are gathered among us today, we bear witness. For those who are allied to the cause of protecting our transgender, genderqueer, and non-binary siblings, we bear witness.
And holding a prayerful spirit, I invite you all to sing together number 1029 in the teal hymnal. Love knocks and waits for us to hear, and you can remain seated.
Love knocks and waits for us to hear, to open and invite. Love longs to quiet every fear and seeks to set things right. Love offers life in spite of foes who threaten and condemn. Embracing enemies, love goes the second mile with them. Love comes to heal the broken heart, to ease the troubled mind. Without a word, love bids us start to ask and seek and find. Love knocks and enters at the sound of welcome from within. Love sings and dances all around and feels new life begin.
In our Kids Dig In program, we encourage our young people to dig into our earth, dig into their faith, dig into all of who they are. Today's leaders are Jamie, Crystal, and Faith. We thank you, and we have a practice of singing them into the program. Those words are in the order of worship.
For you shall go out in joy. For you shall go out in joy and come back in peace, and come back in peace. For you shall go Our pondering today is Dear Trans, Non-Binary, Genderqueer, and Gender-Expansive Friends and Kin, and Those of Us Whose Gender is a Survival, by Julian Jamaica Soto. You are not hard to love and respect. Your existence is a blessing. Your pronouns are not a burden or a trial. They are part of your name, just shorter. Some of our kin use only their names where pronouns would be. The names they are called, remember that. Someone getting them wrong is not a poor reflection on you. It is not your fault. Your body really and truly belongs to you, no one else. The stories of your body, the names of your body parts, your body's privacy, the sum of your body's glory. It is not okay for anyone to press their story of you back to the beginning of your and our liberation. We will find the people ready to be on the freedom for the people way. We will go on. No one can rename you. It can't stick as you offer the gift of being and saying who you are. Mostly, though, your stories belong to you. Your joy and complexity are beautiful. However you may choose to tell it or not tell it, some folks, cis, may take their liberty for an unholy license. You are beloved. Please keep our shared tasks of healing, getting free.
Once a month, we share our Sunday offering with a community organization that's doing work far beyond what we can do by ourselves here at Throop. And this month, in honor of our worship theme of deep listening and in honor of Transgender Day of Remembrance, today we'll share our full offering with Bet Sadek Legal Services. Bet Sadek is committed to pursuing justice for people of all gender identities and expressions. They support transgender, non-binary, and gender non-conforming individuals. After hearing that song, I like to think their legal work probably reminds people just how beautiful they are and how deeply connected all of us are. Bet Sadek helps members of the transgender community receive access to medical care and coverage, to live free from employment discrimination and retaliation. They negotiate landlord-tenant disputes, evictions, and denials to housing and shelter, and they also fight discrimination at school. So again, your entire gift today will be shared with Bet Sadek. If you mean for your gift to go toward your pledge, I implore you to make that as obvious as possible, because when Hillary and I are in the office this week, sometimes we have to untangle it and we make our best decision that we can. And I also just want to say it's been so heartening to me, the generosity of our church on these fourth Sundays when we share the gift of our financial resources with a local nonprofit. Thank you for all the ways you support our Throop community life. Our morning offering will now be gratefully received. In a spirit of gratitude, we lift up those supporting today's worship service, choir, for inspiring us with your beautiful voices, Vahe, our live stream operator, Christy and Mark for being our greeters and ushers, Matthew for serving as our lay reader, Jamie and Faith and Crystal with the children's program, Jacqueline, Ripley, Seven, Dre, Taryn, and Matthew for sharing our litany earlier. I'd like to thank Tom for coordinating coffee and conversation, Hillary for all of your administrative support throughout the week, and Malcolm for your inspirational, heartfelt partnership and collaboration that's 7 days a week. Thank you. And as we pause in recognition for all of the ways we support our Throop community life, I invite you to share the words of gratitude that are in the order of worship. With gratitude for the ministries of the church that hold us and embolden us to love the world, we bless our offering and the many gifts we share. We take a breath in and exhale as we sing our centering hymn, number 18, and the gray hymnal, What Wondrous Love Is This?
What wondrous love is this, oh my soul, oh my soul. What wondrous love is this, oh my soul. What wondrous love is this that brings my heart such bliss and takes away the pain of my soul, that takes away the pain of my soul. When I was sinking down, sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down beneath my sorrow's ground, friends to me gather round, oh my soul, friends to me gather round, oh my soul. To love and to all friends I will sing, I will sing. To love and to all friends I will sing. To love and to all friends who pain and sorrow mend, with thanks unto the end I will sing, I will sing. With thanks unto the end I will sing.
Take a gentle breath in together. Exhale. Let your eyes gently close. Let your body rest against the wooden pew. How will your heart sing to that love that holds all and to the friends you are intimately connected with? A week stretches before us that for some people in the room holds gatherings with loved ones you have not seen in a long time, food you're eager to share, stories you look forward to returning to as you do year after year. And we also know that there are beloveds in the room whose hearts aren't exactly sure what they will be singing in the days to come. Feeling trepidation over possible conversations at the dinner table. Perhaps people who are concerned they'll be singing all by themselves on Thursday. And of course, others who say no to this holiday altogether because of its messy and harmful beginnings. I implore each of you to hold yourselves with the utmost gentleness in the days to come. Remember the words we have sung here today, words that sang to you of love and connection, reflecting your innate and inherent beauty back to you. You are all of those things and more. For all that is our life, we give our thanks and our praise. Amen.
There's something wrong in the village, in the village. Oh, they stare in the village, in the village. Oh, there's nothing wrong with you. It's true, it's true. There's something wrong in the village, in the village. There's something wrong in the
Have you ever felt the longing rise up in you to be completely, totally, 100% free? Not just free from work or free from school or free from chores, but free from constraints, responsibilities, expectations that come at you from every side. Free from a version of you that you did not create. Free from a mold crafted by somebody other than yourself. Free from what the dominant culture, yes, that culture that is steeped in white supremacy and patriarchy and capitalism. I've got my anti-capitalist Charles back in the pew today. Yes, free from what that dominant culture demands of you. Free, finally, to explore your dreams, to discover the you that gets covered up, to finally be and embrace all of who you are meant to be in the world. Free to be that version of you. And free to be that version of you and not to be met with stares or whispers or admonitions or warnings that some essential part of who you are isn't welcome. Or that some essential part of you is weird in a bad way, not in the cool, hey, I'm in Portland, Oregon, weird way. Right? We want that weird. It's not only our personalities, our ambitions, our sense of self-worth that gets tamped down in these moments. It's our very souls that ache to be tended to, grown, believed in, to flourish freely. From the psalm we heard this morning, our souls long, our souls thirst for connection to something greater than ourselves. For some of you, that longing for connection is connected to God. For others, it's a longing to be connected to mystery, to the sacred energy of the universe. We pour out our souls in an attempt to tend them. At times, we share ourselves with people or organizations or causes or past times that really leave us wanting more. And instead of deepening our relationship with our essential self and with what we each name as sacred, we end up just depleting ourselves. We come up empty. And when we find ourselves in that moment, we face the deep that was reflected in Psalm 42. Deep calls to deep. To the tune of white water rapids, your breaking surf, your thundering breakers, they crash and crush me. Each of us have lived through tough times. Times that have left us calling into question who we are. Times that have left us feeling absolutely hopeless and overwhelmed and afraid. Leaving us unsure, are we ever going to find a way through those waves? We are desperate in those times to cling on to someone or something to help us get through. Years ago, when I very first entered the ministry, and I would show up super eager to any kind of ministerial gathering because I really wanted to be there and be part of, there was a question that was popular at the time for ministers to ask one another. They probably would pull their glasses down a little bit as well, but the question was, how goes your soul? How goes your soul? I dreaded being on the receiving end of that question. What? how goes my what? My soul? At that time, I wasn't even sure I had a soul to begin with. And if I did, was I really at that time able to discern how it's going? And if I could, my goodness, how was I going to verbalize that to someone else looking at me so earnestly with their glasses pulled down on their nose? I also think that at that particular time in Unitarian Universalism, the question was popular because it was also considered a little bit edgy. How goes your soul? Because the idea of soul can be messy in Unitarian Universalism. Earlier this week in the Theologies and Dialogue lunch conversation group, we talked about souls. And this probably won't surprise most of you, but there was not a consensus in our group about whether or not souls do indeed exist. We didn't even get into the question of whether animals have souls, but I was planning to do a side eye with Maggie the dog, who's, I don't know where she went, if she's over in the lectern or, oh, she's under the piano, because Maggie and I, we know she's got a soul. We know that. But our Unitarian Universalist values, they don't offer us an answer to this question about souls. We are a relational and covenantal faith, and the glue that holds us together is the promises we make to each other about how we will be in relationship, deep relationship, how we will see and affirm and sing into one another the beauty we experience in each other's eyes, each other's faces, by our relationships. We don't have shared doctrines or creeds, so we're never going to open up a hymnal or a book and read what somebody decided we think about souls or the afterlife or any of those things. Each one of you will come to your own understanding about essential beliefs, such as the soul. And you're not going to guess about it, well, you might, but you're going to come to it through reason. You're going to come to it through your own direct experiences of awe and through the theologies you hold, through the spiritual practices that keep you going. Our Theologies and Dialogue group read and discussed a sermon by Ralph Waldo Emerson, who, yes, was a Unitarian minister in the 19th century, who did serve congregations and, yes, got a little disappointed and disgruntled in what he found in the churches of that day and said, I'm just going to lecture and write and not deal with all the people. Emerson wrote that the soul first knows itself through the wonder we feel when encountering the majesty and beauty of the world around us, when time, space, and eternity seem to break out in joy. And you're probably not surprised that I'm drawn to Mary Oliver's study of the soul and her poem, Some Questions You Might Ask. She wrote, "Is the soul solid like iron, or is it tender and breakable like the wings of a moth and the beak of an owl? Who has it and who doesn't? I keep looking around me. The face of the moose is as sad as the face of Jesus. The swan opens her white wings slowly. In the fall, the black bear carries leaves into the darkness. One question leads to another. Does it have a shape like an iceberg, like the eye of a hummingbird? Does it have one lung like a snake or a scallop? Why should I have it and not the anteater who loves her children, Maggie who loves her parents? Why should I have it and not the camel? Come to think of it, what about the maple trees? What about the blue iris? What about all those little stones sitting alone in the moonlight? What about roses and lemons and their shining leaves? What about the grass?" I'm at the point in my life now where, yes, I believe in souls. And I can ask you, without pulling my glasses down on my nose, I can ask you, how goes your soul, my friend? And I can answer that question if asked it in return without feeling too awkward or pretending like I'm going to be somebody else. From Emerson, I find some truth that our souls are nourished by the beauty of the world. Like Oliver, I too believe that all parts of creation have their own essential essence, their own souls that animate them and that are part of the rhythmic breath of the universe. And I also believe that when we face the deep, that our souls do indeed find strength in one another. That our souls will really and truly only flourish when all of who we are is seen by others and when our full identities are celebrated. You all know that we are entering a time, some of you will say we have already entered it, when identities that have historically been on the margins, that have been in some spaces coming in toward the center where they absolutely should need to be. You all know that we are coming into a time that we are going to be pummeled and hurt and harmed and angry and scared because of messaging we are going to hear about our beloveds. And some of us are going to want to turn off the news and ignore it. No. Because we have beloveds who are unable to turn it off. Because it's going to come at them over and over. And we have a moral and spiritual and love responsibility to be there with them, not even side by side, but in front of. And I invite each and every one of you today who is someone like me that has a lot of identities that are centered. I want you to come with me and be there in the front. And I want you to keep the news on, if you will, because I need you to know with me what's happening so that we can move and stand firm together. That's my pastoral ask of you all in this moment that is going to require a lot from all of us. And in that same kind of vein, I know that those of you who have identities that are similar to mine, I know that in this congregation there is a deep longing and intention to pull, especially right now, our queer community, our community members that identify as transgender, non-binary, gender non-conforming. I know that you want to embrace and pull them into the center. I know that you want to embrace them for all of who they are. And so I'm talking to you all with identity similar to mine. I just also want to say that I know that for some folks that there's maybe confusion or unfamiliarity with pronouns that aren't the ones that we're used to. And I really implore you to practice. Because like in the reading we had today, it was said so beautifully that the pronoun's part of the name, just shorter. And I worry that if we can't get the pronoun piece right, where does that put us relationship-wise? And I'm not saying this to call anyone out. I'm really wanting us to practice deep relationship with each other. And that's another pastoral request I have of the congregation. I get things wrong. I have misgendered someone who's super, super, super dear to me from this pulpit. And I just want to say, if you happen to misgender someone and somebody trusts you enough to let you know, just say thank you and move on, and then practice at home. And I'm here to help hold me through it. We're going to hold each other through it, through what is to come. Language evolves and changes, and we're living in that moment right now, but love remains constant. This morning, Julian Jamaica Soto reminded us that we will find the people ready to be on the freedom for the people way. You are beloved. I want you to take a pause and just say that to yourself. You are beloved. Keep to our shared tasks of healing and getting free. Together, our souls will find that freedom. I love you all. Let's sing into some hope. Come sing a song with me, number 346. I invite you to rise out and sing together, number 346.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk and reign with me. Come walk and reign with me. Come walk and reign with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter. Come sing a song. Come
Gently take the hand or arm or shoulder of someone near you. Our candles are extinguished. We carry its light with us. And who in the room is beautiful today? And who in the room is beloved today? And who in the room is going to take a message of hope out into the world? Yes, I love you all. Go out and love the world. Amen and blessed be.
I brought my spirit to the sea and stood upon the shore. I gazed upon infinity and heard the waters roar. And then I came a sense of peace. Some whispered on my soul, come ancient ministry of stars, and made my spirit soar. I brought my spirit to the trees that loomed against the sky. I touched each wandering, careless breeze to know if God was nigh. And then I felt an inner flame that fiercely burned my tears. Upright I rose from bended knee to meet the asking years. I brought my spirit to the sea.